Should we go into Haiti a little bit before we bring Ben on?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so let's start with this Telesur report first, and then we'll get into kind of the recent history of Haitian politics and why, speaking of Democrats, um, uh, and their history of just atrocity when they get into power. Not good for either Bill or Obama with Haiti. So here's Telesur first.
In the midst of the political crisis in Haiti, President Jovenel Moise has stressed he will not step down, urging the opposition to engage in a process of talks and to support his proposal for constitutional reform. Addressing the nation, Moise claimed he has another year in office and stressed that there will not be any transition process. On Sunday, when his term constitutionally ended, the head of the state claimed an attempted coup against him had been foiled with the arrest of at least 20 people, among them a judge and a police inspector. Despite this, President Moise asked his opponents to unite to undertake effective reforms to the Haitian constitution and called for an end to the widespread protests, calling him to step down. Judges from the 18 jurisdictions will go on strike in protest against the arrest of Judge Ivikel Dabresil. In a statement issued by the National Association of Judges, they demanded the immediate release of Judge Dabresil. They also denounced the harassment and intimidation that members of the judiciary are suffering. Judge Dabresil was arrested on Sunday along with 20 other people, according to Prime Minister Joseph Jout. They were accused of taking part in an attempted coup d'etat. Sunday's events occurred on a significant date in which for various social organizations, federations, politicians, and activists, the mandate of Jovenel Moise has ended. Haitian opposition parties appointed a top judge as interim leader as the latest attempt to oust President Jovenel Moise, whose term they said has expired.
Yeah, so there's this dispute over Jovenel Moise's term and whether it's expired or not. Just to note, the OAS and Biden, the administration, taking cues from the OAS. The OAS, not even hasn't even official. The member states haven't voted, but key figures of the OAS have spoken. So the Biden is, following their lead on this. Just to give a little bit of background into and this Moise and these leadership. There's a core council, I believe it's called, that determines who gets to be these presidents, and it's the UN, certain member states, and that sort of thing. So I think what the OAS says and what Biden says is going to be very vital, and I mean that they're sticking with Moise for I guess the rest of his term. We'll see if he's able to hold on. You want to say anything before we get into like the Bill Clinton and Obama stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's a couple of things that people need to understand. Is that what we have been seeing right now is significant, labor unrest, including a general strike demanding Moise's resignation. Because this is somebody who is, quite frankly, clinging on to power. Right. And you are seeing right now from the Biden administration, which remember was supposed to be such a big jump from the Trump administration, is again playing the same role that the United States, that I'm sure Matt is about to make very clear to everybody, of propping up anti-democratic figures in Haiti. Notably, it has to be also understood that a big part of why you see so much support from the U.S. State Department in supporting Moise in this situation, where it's just clear as day what is happening. When you have like the big bourgeoisie, right, like the elites of a country rising up against the an anti-democratic figure like that, and labor organizing general strikes against them, it's very clear what's going on, which is that the forces that are keeping him in power represent a interest that has a lot more power. That in this case, it is the United States. What I'm getting at is the fact that Moise has been supporting the United States attempts to implement a coup in Venezuela. These are very much connected, and that is why we are seeing the Biden administration and the State Department ghouls willing to continue to support him. And they're doing it half-assedly, right? They're saying, oh, he has to step down in 2022, but they are essentially, agreeing with his argument to why he needs to maintain power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a little list of why somebody interested in Haiti might never vote for a Democrat. So, 1995, the IMF World Bank privatized 9 of Haiti's national enterprises. Then, Bill Clinton administration forces them to get rid of or drop their rice and sugar tariffs, which completely decimates agriculture, forcing people into sweatshops. Fast forward to the Obama administration, where we have a WikiLeaks cable, and I think I might have that available here. Yes, I do. And we'll just read from this WikiLeaks cable because it's very I think pretty candid almost, like, and I guess frank in how it proposed this. So I'll read it here. This is from the Embassy Cable. This is okay. So this is when let me just put the context a little bit more. This is when in 2009, I believe, when it finally passed, they wanted to raise the minimum wage from like 23 cents to 61 cents an hour. And then now we get to the cable and where the U.S. multinationals are concerned with that. The cable writes, this infuriated American corporations like Hanes and Levi Strauss that pay Haitians slave wages to sew their clothes. This is the cable. They said that they would only fork over a 7-cent an hour increase, and they got the State Department involved. The U.S. ambassador put pressure on Haiti's president, who duly carved out a $3 a day minimum wage for textile companies. The U.S. minimum wage, which itself is very low, works out to $58 a day. And then here's just a little bit more context. Haiti has about 25,000 garment workers. If you paid each of them $2 a day more, it would cost their employers $50,000 per day, or about $12.5 million a year. The last year, Hanes had 3,200 Haitians making T-shirts for it, paying them each of them $2 a day would cost it about $1.6 million a year. Hanes Brand Incorporated has $21 million on $4.3 billion in sales. Has made $21 million on $4.3 billion in sales last year.
No surprise there, right?
And it is just like, that's what ambassadors do. It's great to have an ambassador.
Well, yeah, that's what U.S.
Right, exactly, right. Like instead of just having it written into constitutions that, hey, run this by the U.S. first, we'll just have the ambassador lean on you for corporations. It's really obscene. And I wanted to check, and maybe I'll do this for the post game, if Obama's new book mentioned Haiti and this minimum wage thing at all. I'd be curious what his polished line is on it. But anyway, unless you have something you want to say. I just want to put a little bit of the demands out first. So basically, the types of demands are simple. You want no foreign military occupation or other type of meddling. Haiti is, at least at one point recently, 1 or 2 in NGOs per capita, and you have just massive, huge corruption problems there. And even below the U.S. ambassador in Haines. We also have this ICE deportation story where like hundreds of people were sent to Haiti against, even though Biden said no more deportations, hundreds of people sent without any kind of provisioning back to Haiti.
Children.
Scores of children. And I guess I don't know.
I mean, ICE is an organization at this point, and progressives obviously know this, that there is no defense for, right? And any people who are acting like ICE was only acting one way because Donald Trump was the president, right, needs to recognize the fact that ICE is a proto-fascist organization that absolutely needs to be eradicated.
Yep.